Hey everybody, it's Heather Hammerstedt, Emergency Medicine and Team Row. Tisha asked me to do a Facebook Live for you guys about organization after seeing one that I had done on the Physician Females Entrepreneur Facebook page. So here we go. I couldn't figure out how to get that one back and share it, so you're getting a fresh one. All right, so I'm going to be reading a little bit, so sorry about that. Okay, as boring as structure and organization are, it has really been something that has completely revolutionized the way that I'm able to get work done and to prioritize my family and me. It's kept me sane. So I wanted to share that with you guys to see if it's helpful at all. I structure my work and my fun and my food and my exercise, and this way I can kind of set it and forget it and to not really worry about what I have to do next, just sort of do whatever it is that's next and whatever it is I've told myself to do. And then I don't kind of get stuck in that rabbit hole of I remember to do this and then I have to remember it, I forgot it, or oops, I forgot that. I just don't have to worry about it, set it and forget it. My mind isn't stuck on things like that. So for you guys, that means you need to figure out a way to get your entrepreneur stuff scheduled and your regular clinic and work life scheduled, and a way to take quick notes and keep things organized and then forget about them and concentrate on what you have to do at hand and still be able to spend time with family and friends and not feel so haphazard and hardly there, and stay on track and not feel behind. So if that all sounds good, hang in there with my geekiness and I will go through some applications and processes that works for me. So first of all, you need a calendar application. Might be Google for you, it might be paper for you, but I highly recommend that you check out the one that I use, which is Fantastical. It might be called Fantastical 2. This is a calendar application that syncs from the desktop to a device or whatever it is that you use via the cloud. So it lets you sync multiple calendars in one place, allows you to have all of your events there. So you don't miss anything. I have like 13 calendars attached to mine, and so everything is all color-coded and I can scan it and know where I am. So you need to pick a calendar style that works for you and that makes you feel satisfied. So you need to like the way that it looks and the way that it functions so that you actually use it. If you use an app, I would recommend that you make like a new calendar name for labeled for like your row.company or for whatever else that kind of other project is, all your other entrepreneurialisms, if that is a made-up word, and a new calendar that is made just for your family and a new calendar that is made just for you, and color code them however it makes sense to you. This lets you basically schedule you, like your exercise, food, relaxation time, etc., and your family events separately, and it also lets you schedule each of your work things separately so that you kind of know what your day or week looks like in terms of how much time you're spending on each. Sit down once a week in terms of scheduling all of that stuff. So you look at the week ahead of you. You choose the hours that you're going to the grocery store, or the hours that you're going to work just on your row work, or just on your regular work, or just on something else. You put those hours on the calendar and you choose the hours each night that you're going to plan the next day in terms of when you're eating or what you're eating to kind of stay on track for that. You choose the hours you're going to exercise and put those on the calendar. You choose the hours that you're going to spend with your spouse and kids. So the reason this sounds crazy to you is because probably nobody has done this or thought about doing this, but you need to put yourself on your calendar. If you're only putting work on your calendar, then you look like you're only work, right? And if someone asks you to do something, like take a phone call or schedule something work related, and you look at your calendar and there's nothing there, then you're going to say, yes, I'm going to do that, and then you didn't have a chance to hang out with the people or spend time with you that you needed. So you need to treat these calendars as seriously as you do your clinical work schedule, and then you just do what's on the calendar. You also need to choose the hour in the next week that you're going to repeat this for the following week so that it becomes a scheduled habit to schedule. So if you do this once per week, you will stay on track. And again, you need to treat this calendar as sacred as you do a work calendar. You're going to show up to work on time. You are never late to work. You don't forget to show up to work. So you deserve that for you, and you deserve it for your new business, and you deserve it for your family. So you're seeing your whole you, basically. So do what it tells you. Don't do what it doesn't tell you. It puts you in control. It makes your choices well-intentioned. You can set it and forget it. So again, the structure on this, find a calendar that works for you. Sit down each week. Schedule the things that are important to you, whether that's food, if you're trying to lose or maintain weight or just try to be healthier, shopping, exercise, organization time, business work time, family time. It sounds super boring, but you're going to save so much brain space from worry and so much kind of shifting from poor choices and not enough exercise that it'll be worthwhile for you. So moving on to organization and project management. So first of all, everybody needs a place to store files. And I think that at this point, probably our desktops or laptops are not the best place for that because you can't access them all the time. A lot of us are doing a lot of stuff on our phones, and if you have a cloud-based app, it'll work a lot better for you to be sharing files. So I use Dropbox, although I have used Box as well, and they're both really great. Box is HIPAA compliant, and so that might be your best choice if you're trying to use something for kind of patient-related stuff. But basically, they're both cloud-based apps that connect to your devices via the cloud to your laptop or desktop, so you won't lose things. You can share folders with other people, and it keeps all of your files, images, documents, videos all saved in an organized fashion. So that is definitely key. Project management, I use OmniFocus. I know that there is like a million different kinds, and I'm going to tell you about this one because it works for me, but I'm sure that there are other ones that can work for you just as well if you want to do research or ask other people. But this OmniFocus is not that expensive. I think it was like $25 or something, and it was totally worth the money for me. I've been using for it about 3 or 4 years. So it's an iPhone app desktop program. I'm sure that they also have an Android as well. But you set up projects, and basically each project has steps that you can set up that you're either like in a Gantt fashion in terms of an entire project, or you can just do individual to-dos, or you can set things up parallel or in stepwise, and you can assign due dates to each of the steps and projects. So you can set up recurring things like that when you complete them, they reset. So if for, once a month you have to do something for work, or whether it's something for row docs you need to do once a month, that you set it so that it recurs every time you finish it. It just automatically pops up when you have set it ahead of time, so you don't have to worry. It syncs between the desktop app and the phone, and it reminds you when things are due. So you can email and send things directly into an inbox so you can sort it out later. That's the best way to sort of get things out of your email and into a to-do list. You can store attachments within the to-dos in order to find them easily. Really using this has literally changed my life. You can sit down once and come up with like a longitudinal plan for a project that will be weeks or months long. And set it for according what needs to be done when, and then just keep going, and then adding other steps inside of it as you go. So I have ASAP chapter projects, my nonprofit chapter, my nonprofit projects, my new business Wholist. I have kid projects, committee projects, household needs, financial stuff all set up on there. So you just set up the project, its steps, assign deadlines, and forget about it. It also lets you make quick notes when things pop up in your head, like if you're trying to fall asleep and you're like, I have to do this, you can just get it out of your head immediately and get it in there, and then you can sleep better. So example, you need to reframe your social media kind of branding or your logos, and you don't want to forget about it. You pop it in there and assign a date, and you're done. And you can pick up your phone or open your laptop every morning and do what it tells you to do, and there you go, you're on track. Next thing is something called Drafts. This is an iPhone app that lets you take quick notes or reminders and send them to your email, to Evernote, to OmniFocus, whatever you use. The first line of what you type in there is the subject line, and it lets you make notes on something and get it into line to review when you're able to, so it's sort of like a sticky note. I find that really helpful to just kind of get things out of my brain. Evernote, I know this one's popular, so you guys probably know it. I use it mostly to use kind of to put references, clinical notes, personal notes into notebooks that I know where they are. So things I don't necessarily need to like have all the time that I have on Dropbox. These are just kind of to process things that I can find them when I'm on shift or whenever. I usually mostly use it for clinical stuff. Pocket is an app which is basically a read later kind of application. I use it on my iPhone and on the web. And you can save articles to save for later, but basically, if you're on, you're on Facebook or something and you see something that you want to read and you read it and then you forget what you were doing and you are off task for whatever you're going to do, this just lets you open it, save it, and then it falls into a Pocket where you can read it later when you have time. So you don't waste as much time in the rabbit holes, so to speak. All right, last thing I'm going to talk about here is email. Email is obviously essential. It's also a huge waste of time. My recommendation is that you do not read your email when you don't have time to respond. So I try to touch things once, and that means that you either do it, so respond, delete it, which is it's not necessary for you to do anything with, or delegate the email. And delegate isn't necessarily to someone else, although that's awesome if you have someone else to delegate things to. That could be an assistant, partner, spouse, colleague, or whatever. Or you send it to yourself to, say, OmniFocus like I do, and then you can assign it to yourself to do it at another time. So you got to do this the first time you open your email. You got to open your email and, do it, delete, delegate. And this keeps your inbox empty, but tasks assigned in real time. And you've got to figure out a way to have all of your email addresses in one place because you can't be logging on to like 5 different emails because you'll miss things. I use Apple Mail to do this. It's not ideal, but I can make smart boxes in there, so I have an unread section so that I can funnel directly into unread emails that I haven't done. So I'll show you some screenshots here in a second, but basically I'll review my process. I try to clear my brain as much as possible and follow kind of what I'm told. So in real time, I send draft notes to myself. I write draft notes to myself and send them to OmniFocus inbox for things that I need to do. I send, I want to read this, but I don't have time, things to Pocket or to OmniFocus with. Then I put my interesting clinical articles or references into Evernote. I try to clear my OmniFocus inbox often and make sure that I'm sorting them into projects and steps. I review weekly and monthly and try to reschedule the project steps around my availability. I try daily to get in and sort of see what I have not accomplished and try to be more realistic about what's upcoming so I don't end up with a lot of overdue tasks. And let's see. I guess the only other thing for you guys who have iPhones, I mean, I don't know much about Androids, but for those of you who have iPhones, to make sure that you only have the badges up for things that are essential for you to pay attention to, because if you have badges up on everything and you've got all those red numbers, I guess I'm just too OCD for it, but it means I don't pay attention to the things that are important. So I have the badges only open for things that are essential that I recognize. Okay, I'm going to see if I can turn this around. Can I turn this around? Go. And so these are my adorable children, first of all, my little people, my Muppets. Okay, this is OmniFocus. So you can see here what I have due for past due that I'm doing tonight and my today, and then it syncs with my calendar so I can just easily see kind of where I am. They have this project tag that has kind of, these are all of my projects, and they each have, underneath there's like a folder, and then underneath there's a section for each of those things. There's also something called context, which let you put a name in. You can see right here next to or into the to-do list, so that every time, so say Stacy calls me, I can pull up this list and know all the things I needed to talk to her about. And then there's an inbox. These are things that I need to kind of reorganize into to-dos. So that is that. Let's see here, my email. You can see up here on the very top is an unread section, so I can quickly kind of hop into that and get through all those things that I need to get done, and they're not lost. And then I have the regular boxes down here. What else did I talk to you about? Oh, Fantastical is here, so you can see I have all of my different colors associated with family, me, work for Wholist, and regular clinical shifts. And as you can tell, I'm in the middle of an overnight shift. And so this is nice. Again, it has a whole bunch of different calendars on it, and you can do it by month or year. So there we go. Okay, I hope that was helpful for you guys. Feel free to comment, and I will try to answer you. And I'm going to get back to work. You got to squeeze this stuff in when you can. And if you have not, please check out my new business Wholist. I am currently doing Whole You Weight Wellness Coaching Program, basically kind of life coaching, metacognition stuff around food, weight science, and weight maintenance. And I'd love to have you guys part of it if you'd like, you or your patients. I'm also working on an integrative telehealth consulting business, which I'm sure you guys will hear more about. All right, thanks guys.